Well, it looks like the ratings from the last show are looking pretty good here. I think we can go through and do some little... Wait a minute. Wait. Oh. You guys are really, really super early. I was just getting ready to go to a production meeting. Yeah, so hi. How we doing? I feel kind of unprepared here because you guys are so early. It's actually a big night for bad medicine. Big medicine. Whoa. Huh. I guess I am nervous. Huh? It's actually a big night for bad medicine. We've got a potential investor who's looking to put money into the show. And actually everybody knows who it is. Get this. Dolph Lundgren, the guy who played Drago in Rocky, he actually wants to invest $20 million into my show. I mean, this is going to be great. This could really mean a lot of big things for the show. I'm actually getting ready to go to a production meeting right now with him. If you guys want to follow along, that's fine. But, you know, just kind of keep back because I don't really want to scare him away. So, yeah, let's go. Come on. Hey guys, sorry I'm late. There's a bunch of like terrorists out there with machine guns. Did we want to...
Just in case we get killed, I wanted to tell you, you have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
Thanks.
Okay. What's up, YouTubers? Welcome back to Bad Medicine. This is episode 2. I'm your host, John. Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in again. And thank you guys for subscribing and giving all the good feedback and likes and subscriptions to the channel. Really, really means a lot to me. We're trying to make this a better channel. I've actually got 2 of my good buddies that are going to be coming on board to help me more with the technical aspect of all the filming and the effects and stuff, so that I can focus strictly on the comedic side and all the medical side of things. So be expecting some improvements over the courses of the episode. Like I said, tonight is episode 2. And this is a really, really special episode tonight because this is a classic action movie that almost every dude and a few chicks in the world actually really dig. Predator with Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger. I'm super excited about this. This is one of my all-time favorite movies, and this is one that I've really wanted to analyze for a long, long time because it has so many good action scenes, so many good kills, so many good just bloody effects. I love blood and guts in my action movies. I don't know about you. I mean, you know, if you prefer the PG-13 thing, then okay, whatever. But me, action movies gotta be R-rated. They gotta have a lot of action. They gotta have a lot of neck snapping. They gotta have a lot of loud guns. They gotta have... Okay, I'll continue on whatever. I'm sorry, I kind of got into a mode there. But anyway, so tonight, like I said, we are going to analyze a few scenes from Predator. The first scene I want to take a look at is the very first scene when they attack the guerrilla base in Valverde, I think is where they said. It's a fictional country that they made up, but it's called Valverde. It's where Arnold and all of his commandos raid this compound to go after the Russian advisor. It's really an absolutely great scene. And, well, let's just get it started. No more talking. Let's get it on. This is the guerrilla base scene from Predator. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my god. Oh, that fucking Gatling gun kills me, man. He's on fire. Jesus. Overkill much? Jesus Christ. God, he put like 100 rounds in him, man. Oh, light him up, Jesse. God. Oh, man. You know you've seen way too many action movies when a Gatling gun goes off and you just get like goosebumps. It's just the loudest fucking gun in the world. Wow.
Stick around.
Oh man, that never gets old.
Knock, knock.
Oh man, that is fucking great.
I got him! Hawkins, hold in position and situation. Get caught up on the hook.
No, do it! Do it! Alright. Wow. Yeah. A lot of heavy stuff going on there, man. So, well, let me just first of all state the obvious. Everybody dead in that scene. I mean, you had multiple gunshot wounds from high caliber, rounds. I'm assuming, the M16s that they're using, well, that Arnold's using. He's using, I can't remember what it is, but it's like a modified version of M16. It's got the underbarrel grenade launcher attachment. So I'm gonna assume he's using 5.56 millimeter rounds, which are like NATO rounds, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm not an expert. Certainly not an expert in anything. I just know, what I know. But yeah, I mean, those rounds can do some pretty heavy damage. You had multiple explosions. But I'll get back to that in a second. I kind of want to touch on the dudes who were on fire. So, like, when a person catches on fire, there's a lot of things that's going on. First of all, you've got panic setting in because one of the most painful ways to die or even get hurt is burning or burning alive. So not only is your skin just smoldering at this point and it's burning, you've got a lot of internal damage going on too, because when you're in a panic set, you start to breathe heavier. So what happens is you're breathing, but you're scorching your airway. So right here you've got the airway and the lungs, so all that heat and fire is actually traveling down there, and it's actually cauterizing your stuff from the inside out, cauterizing your lungs, your airway, everything. I mean, it's just going to do so much damage. And yeah, so I mean, pretty much it's semi, it could be survivable, but I mean, you would have to immediately take care of the person who's on fire, or the burn victim. Another thing to be wary of with burns is that you're actually more prone to an infection because you have so much open tissue on you, and that requires constant care. It's actually funny, the guy who plays Jason, a lot of you horror nuts will know this, Kane Hodder. He's actually one of my favorite actors and the best Jason ever. Damn right. He actually was a stuntman early on in his years, and he accidentally set himself ablaze and suffered for like a long time, going through staph infections and just all sorts of other stuff that was going on with his body. So that's the other thing too, is with burns, you're actually very prone to an infection. So the minute you get any type of burn, second, third degree especially, because third degree is actually the point when it's just all charred skin. You're going down to bone level now, your muscle tissue is just completely gone from the burn site. So yeah, with burning, definitely want to get that taken care of. So back to the explosions. So with an explosion, you actually have 3 levels that are potentially, well, not potentially, they can be fatal. You've got 3 levels. You've got the primary blast, you've got the secondary, and you got the tertiary. So you got 3 levels of blast. The immediate level, if you're generally within a very close proximity to a explosion, it's going to do a hefty amount of damage to any type of tissue you have. I mean, we're talking, losing limbs, losing legs, just complete body evisceration, everything like that. So the second level, usually you'll get a lot of fragmentation. So like if it's a frag grenade or a pipe bomb or some kind of like compressed explosive that has potential to have shrapnel, you're going to get a lot of concussive damage, which can lead to head concussion or body concussions can be extremely dangerous. So you've got several levels of damage that can happen with that. The third generally is more of a kind of a shock. You can also get a lot of shrapnel from the third level, but it's a little bit more higher probability that you'll survive. So with explosions, it's generally just depends on what level you're at, pretty much. So with that, just stay away from explosions, pretty much is what I would tell you. But yeah, I mean, overall, so much damage, man. I mean, you've got, like I said, multiple gunshot wounds. Pretty much nobody was going to die. The minigun that Jesse Ventura was carrying, so there's a little bit of movie magic going on with that. Okay, so, well, first of all, I don't believe a rescue team is going to go into the jungle carrying a vehicle-mounted super machine gun like a minigun or a Vulcan cannon, whatever you want to refer to it to. Wow, yeah, I mean, with a minigun like that, with its spraying, I think it shoots like 3,000 rounds a minute or something like that. With that, man, I mean, you're just going to be pretty much dog meat at this point. I mean, the rounds are coming out so fast that it just absolutely vaporizes human tissue. I mean, this is the kind of weapon they use on helicopters, on land vehicles to destroy like other vehicles. So I mean, and you're shooting us at like human beings, yeah. So I think there's a little bit of movie magic going on with that as far as like the damage and stuff. But I mean, it's definitely not survivable. So right, so we're gonna move on to our next clip here from same movie. It is the ending, towards the ending. It's when Arnold and the Predator face off in a pretty brutal fist fight. Now, the reason I wanted to show this part is because I want to talk a little bit about concussion management. So with that, as most of you know who've seen this movie, Arnold takes some pretty brutal hits in this scene, and I kind of wanted to specifically kind of mention that. So we're going to check out this clip, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So here we go. Oh, you pissed him off now, dude.
Bad idea.
There's one. Pissing him off more, man. Gut shot right there. If you hit somebody hard enough in the stomach or the chest, you're going to cause a lot of bruising, potential bruising to vital organs, which is not good. Of course, I've never been punched by a space alien, so I don't know what the fuck that feels like. Or I don't even know how to judge that, so... Yeah, he's hurting at this point, or he would be hurting. Alright, we'll go ahead and cut it there. Everybody knows how that ends. So, okay, concussion management. Alright, so basically, you have to know what a concussion is, first of all. It's classified as a mild traumatic brain injury. So, and with that, it can interrupt like normal brain function. So basically, with a concussion, you'll get a loss of consciousness. The majority of people who get concussions will basically just appear dazed, and the symptoms will resolve kind of rapidly. It's a subtle neurological presentation that makes the recognition of a concussion a challenge. So basically, the signs of a concussion right off the bat are very subtle, but you can generally tell when someone has a head injury because they're usually just not with it, or they're kind of recalling like weird little things, or kind of putting things not quite together, you know what I mean? So basically they're kind of talking, you know, not gibberish, but I mean they're kind of not with it. So I mean they're subtle, but I mean if you know the signs, you can really kind of tell. So, and generally that's a really kind of thing you want to know if you're in sports, or if you're, well, especially if you're in EMS. You're going to want to know those signs. So basically, you just have to really kind of focus on the person. So basically, when you're kind of assessing a head injury, you're going to want to find out what happened. So basically, well, in this case, you've got multiple blows to the head, with a fist fight. Obviously, this is make-believe. I doubt Arnold Schwarzenegger has ever gotten into a fight with a interstellar space alien or whatever. So we're just going to basically judge this by real-world facts. So basically, you're going to want to find out what happened. Ergo, fist fight. Very common, which is kind of why I wanted to discuss that. So basically, you're going to want to know if there was protective headgear used. Generally, in a fight, no. Never. Not even in hockey. But, so basically, after that, you're going to want to direct your attention to the airway and the breathing and the circulation. That's the first three levels that any type of assessment that you go through, you have to discuss the ABCs: airway, breathing, circulation. Major. If you have only one or none of those, got a big problem, and you have to address it right away. Basically, and with that, you're going to also want to determine the level of consciousness. So basically, either on one spectrum, you've got he's with you. There's 5 levels. He's either completely with it, or he's completely not with it at all. He's knocked out, cold. So that's also something you gotta disclose. Another one, big one, major. You got to consider immobilizing the cervical spine. Now, with head injuries, that also comes with stress on the cervical spine, which is the first 5 vertebrae that are right here that connect the head. The first 2 vertebrae are actually called the atlas and the axis. I believe I discussed that in the last video. Basically, it allows your head to do this and this. Kind of rotate, that way you can do, head banging or whatever. So basically, you're going to want to apply a C-collar to that. For those of you that don't know what a C-collar is, it's the nice little collar that you put on that you always see in movies that allows your cervical spine to be immobilized that way, because any type of further stress on the cervical spine can actually cause full body paralysis, respiratory failure, number of problems. So always err on the side of caution. Anytime you have a head injury, you're going to always want to do cervical manipulation. So with that, and obviously you need to rule out any other type of threats or anything else like that. So when recognizing a concussion, you have to be able to interview the patient. So like when you interview the patient, you have to ask them simple yes or no questions. Well, not simple yes or no questions. You're going to have to ask them, like, for example, like, can you tell me your name? Can you describe the event that led up to what happened? Obviously in this case, a fucking space alien punched me in the face. So there you go. That's probably what they'll say. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, antegrade amnesia is always going to be part of this too as well. That's basically not knowing who they are, what they are at first, but they'll eventually regain that. That's very different from retrograde amnesia, which is like people who completely lose their memory. So You're going to want to ask them questions like that, like who's the president, what year is it, what did they have for breakfast, just simple questions like that that'll help them recall, like do complete recall from their memory. You can assess for headache, dizziness, nausea, confusion, tinnitus, which is, dizziness, and stuff like that. So now, final thing I want to discuss is something I call SIS, or second impact syndrome. Basically, second impact syndrome is when you get the initial strike in the head, or when you get initially hit in the head with an object or a fist or something. That's basically your brain sloshing about inside of your skull, and you've got the first impact, and then you've got your head going back, and the brain just kind of right around in there. That can be pretty dangerous, because that can lead to a brain bleed, which we all know from when I discussed it last time. Brains and blood do not mix, because blood is very toxic to brain tissue. So you're going to want to definitely be very wary of that. So a lot of that, a lot of metabolic functions can be disrupted in that. Blood flow can be disrupted, and that's a very, very big deal. And that's going to really need some very quick attention. If not, then there's going to be some problems for your patient. Anywho, that's about all I got for tonight, guys. I am so glad you tuned in again to watch the show. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be having a lot more great episodes here pretty soon. We're going to do our Halloween special here coming up in the next few weeks, where I'm going to discuss Halloween. Duh. And we'll talk about a few kills from that movie and kind of discuss what's going on with that. So in the meantime, I am John. Thank you for tuning in to Bad Medicine. I will see you guys